What's up, everybody? Welcome to the P.O. Vincent podcast here on the River's Edge Online Radio Network. I am your host, Vincent Didiano, giving you my point of view on movies. And once again, joining me is my co-host and friend, the Film Fatale,
Hello.
Jess.
Hi, guys.
Oh, man. So we are more than halfway through the Tremors franchise at this point. And I think we're at an important point in the franchise where before we get into Tremors 5 today, I feel like we're like, this is part of like the new era.
It really is, though.
Yeah, it really is. Because I feel like one through 3, and depending on how you feel, the TV series, the one that actually did air, not the one with Kevin Bacon, it's kind of like the original era. And then 4 is kind of like this in-between thing, even though it's technically a prequel. And then we're getting into this one, which came out years after 4. Like, I think a solid decade at least.
It came out in 2015.
Yeah.
It's also a completely different era because this is the first time we no longer have the same group of people working on the films.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then let's not wait any longer. Let's get into this new era, which brings in a lot of new information.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to go over it, the good and the bad. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about Tremors 5, Bloodlines. All right, Film Fatale, give us the trivia download on this one.
Yeah, so like I said, this was filmed in 2015. And it is the first time that we no longer have S.S. Wilson, Ron Underwood, and Brent Maddock working on this. So it's based on their characters. And at one point, they were working on the film.
Oh.
But because of creative differences and a difficulty getting their creative wants into the film, they all left the project.
Damn.
Yeah. So it was actually directed by Don Michael Paul. And the screenplay is John Wepley, but it's produced by Ogden Gavansky. So a whole new group of people working to get this movie out. It stars Michael Gross, comes back as Burt. And then we have Jamie Kennedy, who plays Travis Walker. Natalie Becker plays Lucia. Pearl Thusi plays Nyala. I think that's how they pronounce her name.
According to IMDb, it's Nandi?
Nandi
Montabu, but IMDb can be wrong sometimes. So
that's very true.
Though her name, it's hard to remember, her name because it is a very exotic name.
Yes. Brandon Arett plays Johan Dreyer. Ian Roberts is Den Bravers. And Daniel Jenks was Eric Van Wyck.
Yes. Yeah, we have Burt is the only returning character in this one. The first time where we didn't have at least 2 returning characters in a movie.
Yeah.
Except for 4, because 4 was a prequel. 4 was a whole new character.
4 was weird.
Yeah. 4 was weird in its own prequel-ish way. But anyway, so this time it's many years later after the events of the 3rd movie. Burt is still doing his survivalist thing, but he started like a kind of an online web show about how to be a survivalist. And all of a sudden, a new guy shows up, Travis, and offering him to be not only his new cameraman, but his basically his publicist, the guy who wants to take his
I'm going to take your career and revamp it.
Yeah. And of course he's against it because he's Burt. He doesn't like playing with other people.
No.
But then this guy shows up from South Africa saying, we've got graboids and we need you to come kill them. So Burt reluctantly teams up with Travis, who basically Travis weasels his in a way by like giving Burt a treat. I don't know how else to put it, but we'll get to that little detail. Yeah. But they go to Africa and they go down there and they find out that the graboids in Africa are not the same as the graboids in North America.
No, not at all.
And we are really going to get into some of those details because there's some things I like about the African graboids and some things I don't like about them.
We'll get there.
And that's just the graboids. We haven't even got into the plot and characters yet.
No.
We got a whole lot of shit to cover in this movie. And before anyone thinks that, there are things in this movie I like, but there are definitely some things I need to point out that I find not only an issue on a movie level, but on a Tremors franchise level. So we'll get into all that. So, we're introduced to Travis, played by Jamie Kennedy. And he's basically this dirt biking, kind of womanizer type character.
Yeah. We always have one of those.
We always do. Because this franchise is kind of pointed mostly towards men, I would say.
It
You're a fan of the franchise, and I assume there's plenty of other women who like, Tremors or whatnot. But this is definitely a franchise that's more, oriented towards men, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, Travis is trying to convince him to be his new cameraman, and he's there to replace the old cameraman that was filming for Burt.
Yeah,
Burt
he takes a union job.
Yeah,
He's
Burt
like, I'm gone. So this is your cameraman.
Burt didn't even know the guy was leaving. He just didn't give him a warning.
He's like, all right, I'm out of here. Bert's like, you've gone AWOL. That's literally what he says. Like, you've gone AWOL, son. Yeah. Like, okay.
Yeah. But anyway, so then the Van Wyck. He shows up and he's from South Africa, so he's got that accent, and he's telling him, he's telling him, like, we got a graboid problem. And Bert's like, I'm in. And then Travis is like, whoa, let's like negotiate this. Burt, let's talk. Because he's like, do you want to expand your business or not? Like, he's trying to help Burt on the business level, which is a carryover from a theme in the Tremors TV series where Jody was trying to convince Burt that, we need to really play up the tourist thing and
make money,
Yeah, you're a survival expert. Burt taught a survival class in the TV series, which was short-lived because the series was short-lived. But so this is a bit of a carryover from the TV series. But the interesting thing is, I don't know if the TV series is considered canon.
Oh.
Because there's things that in this movie that make me indicate that they may have ignored it. Because as you remember, Tremors 3 ends with them deciding not to kill the albino graboid, El Blanco,
right,
because he's an endangered species, and therefore Melvin cannot build his apartments and tourist attractions on Perfection Valley. And that is carried into the TV series. That is a part of the TV series. And there's nothing in this movie to indicate that Burt, either El Blanco is still around, or Burt still talks to the other people in Perfection.
Yeah, because the movie opens and he's in Nevada.
Yeah, he's in Nevada, and at first I thought he was like out somewhere in the middle of Perfection Valley, but later it's indicated that he's not. So I don't. He talks later about Perfection Valley as if it's home, but I'm not even sure if he's home, and so it's a little confusing. Yeah, but anyway, Travis finally wins him over because he shows him I got this gun. He pulls out this gun, which is I think he said it was an HK-91.
Yeah,
which. I'm not a gun expert, but I feel like that's a European rifle. I could be wrong.
I think so.
I feel like it is. I'm not, once again, not a gun expert. But anyway, it reminded me of that scene in the movie The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen where Tom Sawyer initiates himself with, John Bull was the nickname of the character. I forget what the...
I can't remember.
Yeah.
That movie's just...
But anyway, it's the same thing. Like the older, more experienced, good guy is won over by the younger guy because he's got a cool gun to offer him.
Very true.
Yes,
a cool gun can win a gun fanatic over for sure.
Yeah. But so anyway, Travis and Burt go with Van Wyck. They go to South Africa, and I gotta say they needed to pick their locations better because the desert that Burt is in when we first see him is no different than the deserts in Africa. That's supposedly in Africa.
They actually did film on a nature reserve in Africa, but I did think that the terrain when they got there was just very similar. They could have chosen a different spot on that reserve to come in on.
Yeah, because even some the rocks alone, there's these kind of rocks and boulders around the terrain that have this pebbly look to them, and I see them in both what's supposed to be the Nevada desert and the African desert. So they didn't really pick the locations too well to distinguish the two areas. I understand they're both deserts, but plenty of deserts do not look the same.
They're going to have similarities, but in a film, you should have some distinct differences between the scenery from one setting to another, just so you can differentiate those for the audience.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The Death Valley does not look like the Sahara. They're both deserts, but they're both different looking deserts.
Yeah, you can have different angles of things to make it look different, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure they couldn't get I don't know if they couldn't get the characters back or the actors or whatever, but I feel like it would have been better if if it's Burt's in we see one of the townsfolk of Perfection convince Burt to go with this Travis kid or give him a shot. That would have been a nice little thing, even if they just had this little cameo in their beginning. But anyway, so they go to Africa. They go to this. I don't even know what is the place they're at. It's there's buildings and stuff. Is it a nature? I know it's filmed on a nature reserve, but are they at a nature reserve?
I think there is a reserve, and then there's a village.
There's a village. Okay, there's a village. I know. Yeah. But they get there, and Burt he brought the kind of guns and weapons he needs, but it's South Africa, so like his stuff is caught. His weapons are caught up in customs.
Yeah, they're like confiscated in customs,
And
and they haven't made it to him at all.
Yeah, it's a 3-day quarantine, which when you're in a graboid situation,
That's
3 days
nuts.
might as well be 1,000 years.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially when we get into how bad this graboid situation is.
Yeah. While they're there, they do meet Dr. Nandi Montabu, beautiful young veterinarian who works in the area. Of course, Travis starts hitting on her, and it's funny. Like Jamie Kennedy, I think his character is supposed to be like in his late 30s, but Jamie Kennedy was in his.
I think he's. They imply later on that he's about 40.
Yes, but I think I looked it up. Jamie Kennedy was around 45, so not too far off.
Okay, not too far.
But
wow, I didn't know that he was. As he's 50 now. Wow.
Yeah, but the other thing, he looked like he was in his late 40s in this picture.
Yeah, that's very true.
Because you remember in the early 2000s, Jamie Kennedy was very popular thanks to his hidden camera show. And then he did some movies. None of them really ever took off. The only one I ever remember is the one where he. Yeah. We will. Maybe someday we'll get to that motherfucker.
Bad sequels.
Yes. And then the one where he plays he's like a Eminem in kind of guy.
Oh,
Malibu's most Malibu's most
okay,
wanted.
That's what that is.
Yeah. His movie career never took off.
No.
But anyway, so. He's playing with like the doctors. She has a young daughter who's like in the garden, and she's electrifying the ground to pull up worms for bait. Yeah. So we're letting a little girl play with a car battery. All right.
I mean, hey.
I'm just like, I mean,
I feel like there were weirder science experiments we did as kids.
Oh, okay, fair. Right.
Like that's just the stuff we did for science fairs at my school were pretty wild.
All right.
That was private school.
Yeah. I mean, it plays later in the film. It's a setup.
It's a setup. It's also a really funny scene because this little girl and another gentleman convince Jamie Kennedy's character to eat a worm. Yeah. And they tell him it's an African tradition, and as he's eating it, he's just like, "It's not, is it?" And the little girl laughs. Right. It's a nice little scene, but yeah, it's a setup for later on.
Yeah. So they're there, and there's the one hunter guy that we see in the beginning of the movie who his hunter buddy got killed. And they tell him it's like you have ass blasters. That's what they're really probably ass blasters. And Burt keeps telling him, like, if you got ass blasters, you probably got graboids.
Yeah,
and they won't listen to him.
One without the other.
Yeah. And this one guy's not listening to him. It's like, dude, I get it. Like, he's an American from another country. This is your territory. I get it. But one, if you're really this badass hunter, how do you not know anything about what in this world are the most famous animals on the planet?
Yeah, because, I mean, okay, so we didn't talk about the very beginning of the movie where they set up Burt's TV show. And one of the things that his web show or whatever.
Oh, yeah, I almost forgot to bring this up. Yeah,
the setup is really cool because it goes through all of the things that we know about graboids so far. Yeah. So it goes through the life cycle.
How they hunt.
And it gives us the rules of the game so far. Yeah. It establishes our universe so far. If that guy is such a survivalist as well, or a hunter or whatever, he should at least have the basic knowledge of the life cycle of a graboid.
Yeah, even if they've never shown up in South Africa before.
They've been around for a while now.
Yeah, it's been at this point in the movie, it's been
almost 20 years.
25 years at this point where these creatures were first revealed to the public. Also, something about that I forgot to bring this up, but when we're seeing the clips from Burt's little web series, which I assume is a web series because we're seeing images from the previous films, footage to highlight. Which is
they're spliced together.
Yeah, they're all spliced together, and this is for new members. I'm guessing part of this movie's purpose was to bring new viewers to the Tremors franchise.
Yeah, because that's why we have it's a whole new team and everything. Yeah, so they're just doing things a little differently.
Yeah, but one of the things that bothers me is during one of the graphics, they have an image of the African breed of graboids that don't look the same as the American breed. Why?
I didn't quite realize that.
Yeah, because they show them, and I'm like, and we'll get to the look, design, and all the details.
Yeah, we will.
But it's like, why is this in your little?
Like, you don't know that exists yet.
Yeah, why did you bump into one that looks like this? Because no, it's like they did it in editing and nobody pointed out like
Like, they missed it.
This shouldn't be here yet. I'm assuming there was two versions. Like it's like there's another version of it at the end of the movie, you know. But so I'm assuming that they made multiple versions of it, and nobody told them like to make sure this image isn't in the first one. It doesn't, you know. So that bothered me a bit. It's like it's small thing, but it's big at the same time.
It's a little thing, but it's a continuity error.
Yeah. So that bugged me. But anyway, back to where we were in the story. So Travis, like we meet a few people. Travis is just trying to like hang out with the local people. He goes to the local village. They're having a ceremony where Dr. Matabu tells him about like, you know, well, what's this about? This is about our ancestors, and they fought the lightning bird, which is what you call the graboid, the ass blaster. They called it the lightning bird. So it revealed that the tribe that has existed in this area have encountered these creatures over the years, which leads me to my next question. If these things have popped up in the history of this tribe, they've encountered them before, how is this tribe still here? People have trouble killing these things with guns, and were they able to kill them with spears and arrows and stuff? I
don't know. It
makes me
like,
think.
Is this implying that they've gotten stronger over time? I'm not quite sure.
Yeah. It's little things. It's like, you know, I mean.
Or like if you have known about these creatures, if this has been passed on from generation to generation, why didn't we know about it sooner?
Yeah.
Or did we just not believe these people when they told these myths? I mean, maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I mean, if they haven't shown up in hundreds of years and nobody believed them.
Maybe people thought it was a myth and they didn't really know until Graboid showed up, and then they were like, oh shit, our ancestors warned us about this.
Yeah.
And they were right.
I mean, it just like these little things are like they just keep jumping out to me. But anyway, so eventually, like, it's nighttime, and one of the things that she points out to Jamie Kennedy's character is like, oh, the lightning bird, the African ass blaster, they only hunt at night because it's cooler at night and they can pick up heat signatures much easier.
They're nocturnal.
Which I like. I think that's a nice little detail.
That is a good design, especially for where they are, you know, south of the equator. It is going to be a lot hotter during the day, so that does make sense. And a lot of I feel like a lot of animals who hunt in the African desert have to hunt at night.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I actually like that. But anyway, so one of the ass blasters shows up and starts attacking these two guys who I forget their names because they're just so boring and forgetful characters.
I don't remember their names.
Yeah,
either.
One's a bigger dude, one's a smaller dude.
They're
the smaller
just
dude
there to get killed.
The smaller dude has a crush on the doctor. And then nothing happens with that. And then later in the film, the only purpose he serves is to shoot a gun and drag the little girl around so she doesn't get eaten. He's like really just a pointless. He's barely
just there
a character.
to be the wheels.
Yeah. But it attacks him, and we finally get to see the full view of the African breed of ass blaster. And I don't know about you, but I really don't like the design.
I don't like it. It's janky.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen this as some kind of monster in a video game that you fight before you get to the boss. It's
like the pre-boss. Yeah,
it's got like a demonic kind of hellbat thing to it. But what really bothers me, it doesn't have the signature Tremors beak thing on it. It's got like this.
No, it does not.
It's got like that. I forget what the name of it. It's like that eel that has a suction cup mouth with like fangs in its side of it. I forget what it's called. Lamprey. Yeah. It got that kind of mouth, which would be fine, but that's the one physical trait that all of the graboid, like the life cycle of the Tremors, we'll call the species of Tremors, graboid, shriekers, ass blasters, is that they all have the beak with like the lower half being kind of like mandibles and stuff. This one is just nothing but mandibles. It's just like the predator's face, but if somebody kept adding mandibles.
That's very true.
Yeah.
And it is much larger than the ones we've seen before.
Which is fine. I don't mind it being larger.
It's more intimidating in a way, but the design is just weird.
Yeah, I feel like the design is very uninspired. The only thing I would say, the only one thing I really like, okay, two things. One, I do kind of like that they're a little bigger. You know, they're not aerodynamic like the ass blasters we known, which makes me wonder how it like, you know, it's like I prefer them to be more aerodynamic. It makes sense. All flying things are aerodynamic.
Yeah.
The tail I kind of like because the tail kind of opens up, kind of like it blooms like a black flower almost, and like that's where the blast comes out of. But beyond that, I feel like the design is uninspired. I just don't like it.
I took a lot of issue with the Tremors designs in this film, to be honest. Not just the ass blaster, but later on when we talk about the graboid. There are just some things that bothered me.
Yeah.
The design was just very off because, we've had the beak, there are distinguishing features that we've had throughout this franchise that they just don't have in this film anymore.
Yeah, it's bothersome. So the African ass blaster carries off with the one guy, the bigger dude, that's like the nice jolly guy we met like 10 minutes ago. And Burt and the African hunter guy go off to try to find him and save him from the ass blaster. They don't succeed. The ass blaster drops him off on a bridge and uses him as bait to draw in other people. Burt comes in and basically shoots at it a few times, and it flies off with the guy, and then he's definitely dead at that point.
Yeah,
it's just kind of
don't really see him anymore.
Yeah. Then the next time we're skipping ahead because there's like a lot of like filler shit. But so Burt, the African hunter guy, and Van Wyck go after it, and Van Wyck wants this thing alive.
Yeah,
he says they want it alive for the African Animal Foundation organization.
Yeah, he comes up with some animal fund that is trying to protect, because you got to remember they're an endangered species, so he's trying to claim that they're trying to protect it.
Yeah, and it's just so they go after it and they try to trank it with a tranquilizer dart. Doesn't work. So then Burt shoots it, and he does kill it, right? Yeah, it explodes.
Yeah, it explodes.
And its flaming body lands on the African hunter dude.
Yeah.
Not a big loss there.
We kind of always have a scene like this, and I enjoy it.
They do find an egg, because even though it's an African breed, apparently the ass blasters still carry eggs.
Yes.
And that's when we find out that Van Wyck is not who he appears to be, and he wanted a ass blaster to sell on the black market, but he'll settle for the egg.
Oh, yeah.
Because now he'll get a graboid, and a graboid can make ass blaster, so whatever the person wants.
So he takes this egg, traps Burt in a cage.
A literal fucking cage.
A literal cage, and we get this scene.
This is actually a good scene.
I think this is my favorite scene in the movie, when Burt is stuck in this cage recording himself, just like screaming and talking about how if he gets his hands on this guy, he's gonna kill him and all this stuff.
And he takes his clothes off, so he's basically naked.
He's basically naked,
and then he pees into a sizable cup, and then covers him, like pours his own urine on him.
He's like people have been using urine as a bug repellent for years.
At one point, he takes a sip and wishes it around, and
he's like, it's definitely an acquired taste.
Yeah,
it's like what?
Like, dude, it hasn't even been a day yet. How dehydrated the fuck are you?
Yeah, he's been there for not even 24 hours before Travis shows up.
It's Burt alone and without anything to help him. In previous movies, with just the camera. He's only got himself to talk to, basically. I love the part where he leaves a message to Heather, Reba McEntire's character from the first movie, where he's like, Heather, if this gets to you, make sure the HK-41 gets a good home.
Yeah,
I really love that gun, and to you a lesser degree, but
it's really funny.
It's great. I would love for a future movie to be Reba McEntire comes back and the two of them are forced to work together.
And then they end up getting back together, because I would root for that.
Yeah, or
I think that'd be cute.
Yeah, or at least...
Let's start a change.org petition to get Reba McEntire back into the Tremors franchise for the 8th film. We're just going to force them to make an 8th film so that this can happen.
It's just going to happen. Just have her back. She's not doing anything right now.
I don't think so.
Yeah, Reba. Her sitcom's been off the air for 10 years now.
I feel like she's happily retired. But come back for just this.
Anyway, but eventually Travis finds him, pulls up in the truck. Reason being is because Burt didn't realize that the camera had a live feed, so Travis could track the feed. So he comes up.
It's like everyone's been watching this. Whoever watches his videos.
Yeah. No, yeah. Well, that's the thing, is it was the feed up online or was it just going back to Travis's computer? I don't know. Either way, people were watching Burt lose his shit because like before, like when Burt partners up with somebody, he keeps his cool as much as Burt does.
Yeah,
but now that
he
he has
tries.
nobody or nothing to hold him back,
definitely-
yeah. But anyway, a graboid is coming at them. Burt has a GPS satellite link up, and they know so. They don't have time to get Burt out of the cage, so Jamie Kennedy just straps a chain it to the truck, and drags the cage away until they get her out of the range of the graboid. But then they stop because the cage flips, and Burt probably should have fucking died.
I know. Like, how do people survive some of the things that happen in this film?
Yeah, because Burt's, I mean, like Michael Gross, Burt's up there in age now. They pointed out earlier in the film, he's completely bald at this point. Like, whatever he had left, he just shaves off. But yeah, so that was good. And then, he gets his clothes back on, and they have to track down Van Wyck, who they catch up to him as he's like running out of a cave or something. And he's like all bloodied and fucked up, and a graboid's coming at him. And here's one of the things I don't like about the African graboids. Okay, I guess I look on your face. I guess
we're definitely on the same page.
Okay. Apparently, the African breed of graboids, they're grabbers, as Burt refers to them in this film, aka the snake-like tentacles. The African breed, they can detach from the graboid.
Bullshit.
Act independently.
So mad. It made me so mad.
I know. I was just like, wait,
it's
what?
such terrible design. Yeah. It ruins so much of the design thus far. Yeah. And it just makes no sense. What do you if they can detach like that? That basically makes them like. What, are they a parasitic creature that lives inside of the graboid?
Yeah, do they have a symbiotic relationship?
They're not part of the graboid itself? Like, I don't understand.
I know. Is there a psychic connection, or do they make a sound in that? I don't know. The only thing I do like about them, I do like their new mouths.
Yeah, the mouth design's cool. I'll give it that. Yeah. But, no, I couldn't stand it.
It bothers the shit out of me. Yeah, I'm just like, cause they don't really explain how it works.
I was watching it with Catsby on my lap, and I went, what the fuck? Yeah. And she just ran off.
Yeah, if they gave... excuse me. If they gave us something like, I don't know, like the main body of the graboid controls the tentacles via some kind of like echolocation that guides them in a certain direction or something. Maybe something.
Any explanation.
Yeah.
But there is none. I do like that it's a setup for Burt to say his famous line, that there was need to know information not given to him, and like that's fun, but terrible design. You
think Burt at this point would just realize like nobody knows anything.
Yeah.
I don't know anything.
Every time I think I know something.
Yeah.
I don't.
Maybe they really should just capture one and study it for like a full fucking year. Just next time, that's just what you do. But anyway. So then we finally get to see the full body of the African breed of graboid, and the African breed is much. We saw. Oh yeah, there was these two archaeologists early in the film. They dug up the fossils of an African graboid, and the African breed is much larger and more muscular than the American breed. Yeah. Basically, this whole movie is saying the American graboids. Oh, they're nothing now.
They're smaller versions of.
Yeah. They wouldn't stand a chance against the African breed. Like, so I don't know if that pissed off some fans to reveal like, the originals are now passé or obsolete compared to these new African ones. I can see maybe some fans, because fans can get like that when you present a new version of something that's better than what they got attached to.
We are complaining because we're fans and we're upset.
Yeah. But anyway, so the African breed of graboid doesn't just come up out of the ground and grab you, except for when they killed the archaeologist. This one will literally leap out of the dirt like a whale shooting out of the ocean and in a spiral formation. Like it spins like a fucking football.
Like a corkscrew. It's something.
Yeah, and it's yeah. And it's a cool sight to see it come out of the ground and like, it's a cool sight.
And it is nice to see Van Wyck die. Like obviously you want that after what he did to Burt and he had it coming.
Meanwhile, while this has all been going on, an ass blaster has been attacking the we'll call it headquarters, the facility.
The facility, the vet and her daughter, and that one guy.
And the one guy that has a crush on her, and that's literally his whole character. He just has a crush on her.
Really likes her.
Yeah. And they're able to fend off the one ass blaster. Eventually, they kill it with a combination of handgun fire and a couple of arrows from the doctor, because the doctor had an impressive assault rifle. I think Burt called it an M5, which I think it's an M5 Commando. I used to watch gun shows on History Channel. Anyway, I am not a gun guy, but I've watched a show or two. So I'm a gun kind of guy.
Okay.
Not real. No, I'm not gonna say. Someone's gonna leave a comment going like, "Oh yeah, what's your favorite caliber?"
What?
I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, so she had that one, but she gave it to Burt because the only guns that Van Wyck gave him were like some really old, obsolete guns that would not be helpful against graboids and ass blasters.
Like a prop gun at some point.
So, but she does have a bow and arrow. So I guess that's from her tribal heritage or people. And apparently the arrows are actually pretty effective because she nails the ass blaster with 2 of them. And considering these ass blasters are 2 or 3 times bigger than the American, North American variety, I guess the arrows are quite effective. Even though the guy was just like unloading his handgun into it. So whatever. Well, again, we're getting like, ugh. But anyway, so eventually they find, and we get the reason for the title of the movie, you know, Tremors 5 Bloodlines, is they find a nest, and the reason why the ass blaster is going after the facility and the graboids going around is that they got the egg back from Van Wyck, but somehow the doctor's little daughter got a hold of she found an egg and just put it in her vegetable basket.
Yeah, she's just carrying it around like. I mean, I guess, okay, if I was a little kid and I found a robin's egg, I would probably take it and carry it around. So I can't really argue that logic that a child would do this, but it's where did she get it? We never saw her leave the facility. How long has she had it? Because if she's had it for a while, I feel like the ass blasters would have attacked a lot sooner.
Yeah, it reminds me, like, this movie's like remind me of other movies. It reminds me of Jurassic Park 3 when they took the raptor eggs and the raptors were chasing them because they had the raptor eggs on them. So I don't know if they took that from that or whatever, but this movie reminds me of other movies that weren't that great either. So it's like a theme. It's like it's sucked in the kind of cool ideas from kind of almost good movies.
B sequel universe.
Tremors 5. I fucked it up. I couldn't remember the word. Tremors 5. Plagiarism. There we go. There you go.
That works.
That could have been funny. Just imagine it was funny, ladies and gentlemen. Just imagine it was. I could edit it out, but fuck. I want you to know I'm human and I make mistakes.
We are not robots here at the podcast.
No. But anyway, so they call. We forgot that they rode into this area, land on a helicopter, and the helicopter pilot, him and Burt get along great. Like they're kind of like they're kindred spirits. They got respect each other for the kind of guys they are. The guy shows up in his helicopter to pick them up because they're in the middle of nowhere at this point. Burt and Travis, and then he gets eaten by a fucking graboid.
Oh yeah, this is a great scene.
Yeah. Graboid he's got like this weird looking pump action kind of shotgun. It's got like
it kills whoever he had with him. He had some guy with him. Co-pilot. And then it kills him. And then we have this scene where Travis and Burt are trying to get to the helicopter, and they do get to the helicopter.
Yeah, after.
And then out of nowhere this guy just is back?
Yeah, he's covered in graboid mucus. And they're like, "Oh, how did you survive?" And he's just like, that guy." He's like, he's
like, "It had about 20 meals and was too full, so it spit me back out." And Travis is just like, "What?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "I might have tickled its insides a little bit," implying that he like shot.
Yeah, she's like a shotgun. Yeah,
the shotgun inside of the. How? Like what?
Because even if that were true. The tentacles, the grabbers would have been chewing on him on the way down. So he should be, even if it did spin him back up, he should be fucked up.
And he's really not, and it's very confusing. It's another scene I kind of have just like, what? About? Just why?
Yeah. And then he cleans himself off with, I don't know, I guess I got towels in the helicopter. I don't fucking know. And he takes him back close to the village, and then he goes home. I don't know. I think a helicopter would be very useful right now, but fuck it.
The helicopter did come in use
Yeah.
because before he shows up, they do use these rockets to shoot into the nest because they are out of guns at that point.
Yeah.
He's been eaten with his gun. So Burt and Travis get to the helicopter and they use the 10 rockets that were on there to blow up the nest. And then this guy shows up again. It's just a bad ending to a decent scene.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, there's a 3-day quarantine to bring in assault rifles into South Africa, but this guy with his helicopter
Yeah, he has rockets on his helicopter.
What the fuck? I don't know what the laws are in South Africa. If you are listening or watching and you know how it rolls down there in terms of weapons,
like maybe because he lived there. Different rules apply.
Like it was an old military helicopter that he acquired somehow. I don't know, but anyway,
very bizarre.
This guy literally could have like taken over the fucking village if he wanted to. He could have threatened to rain down hellfire. But no. Yeah. You know what the funny thing is? So let's get into this next part, and don't let me forget about the helicopter guy. But
okay.
So the reason why the movie's called Bloodlines is because these tremors and ass blasters. Oh, which by the way, the African breed, there's no shrieker. It skips shrieker and goes to ass blaster.
There is no shrieker.
But
I found that very strange as well.
Which I guess, all shrieker is just a flying. All ass blaster is a flying shrieker, so I kind of get it, but I don't know.
They just skip. I'm assuming that because we're south of the equator, there are different adaptation rules applying to the tremors, maybe, and that's why they skip that part of their life cycle. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I'm just making excuses to make things work in my head. Like, okay, maybe that works.
But anyway, so it's revealed that the graboids and ass blasters are acting the way they do because they're trying to preserve the species, their bloodline, and this whole movie, throughout this whole movie, Travis, Jamie Kennedy's character, Keith, has been calling Burt Pops, and he keeps on bringing up time that Burt went to Florida 40 years ago.
You were in Florida 40 years ago, weren't you?
Yeah.
At a gun show.
Yeah. I grew up in Florida, and the name of the movie is Bloodlines. I wonder what this. Jamie Kennedy's his son.
Yeah.
Travis is Burt's son that Burt never knew about because he hooked up with a liberal hippie chick 40 years ago.
Like a one-night stand.
Yeah.
You gotta fuck what you hate sometimes, I guess. I don't know. Like, whatever. I guess. So yeah, somehow Travis is his son.
Yeah, and it was. I remember when I first watched this movie like a couple years ago. It was so painfully obvious. The name of the movie just kind of. There's no surprise.
It kind of gives it away.
It's like you're just the whole time you're just waiting. It's like he's his son. Tell him you're his son.
This now.
Yeah. Why? And they never. I don't think he ever says why now he wants to.
No, that's
Burt.
Also never established.
Yeah.
Why he's come out of the woodwork now, or.
Yeah, there's no reason. Like you could have said, well, he says his mom died a few years ago, so that could have been motivation. But maybe it was like mom died a month ago, and maybe now he thought it's about time I met my real dad.
Maybe he just it took him that long to really take care of all her affairs.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Meanwhile, Travis apparently has a backstory because he keeps saying, "Oh yeah, I was a cameraman in Afghanistan taking video in the middle of combat," or like I think at one point he even says he used to work for the CIA. It's like what kind of background do you have? Like, man, what the fuck? Like, it's just supposed to make Burt untrusting of him because Burt doesn't like government stuff. But it's just like, what are you doing with your life? Right? What happened? Like, what the fuck? I don't know. But it's like there's so much stuff that's like set up and not really developed properly.
Yeah.
It's bothersome. We're shitting on this movie. I'll say one good thing. I think the special effects for a movie of this caliber are decent.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
We have some decent gore.
Yeah.
The CGI is, it's 2015, so CGI got better.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah, compared to the last one. Yeah.
Very much so
say.
compared.
Yeah.
So the CGI is a lot better here. The effects are a lot better. So kudos for that. Unfortunately, it doesn't make me forgive the continuity errors. That's all.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Getting to the point, it's the final confrontation. The ass blaster's been killed. The nest has been destroyed. Now they just got to deal with the graboid.
Yeah.
Who's after the little girl because the little girl still has to because the little girl ran off when they were checking, when the mom and the guy has a crush on the mom.
They're checking the village.
Yeah, they were checking the village, and the girl ran away got out of the car and ran away because kids are stupid in movies. Because
they're really kids in movies are just there, especially like a horror or like a sci-fi thriller. Kids are just there to make a fucking mistake.
Yeah,
and bring the monster closer to them.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
But anyway, yeah. But in the beginning of the movie, they established that there's a lightning storm that always comes around every day at 5 o'clock or something.
Every day at 5 o'clock. There's a lightning storm.
Yeah. So, and this is called back to when the little girl was electrocuting the ground to bring up the worms. Basically, they use this knowledge to set up a lightning rod.
A huge lightning rod.
To fry the graboid. And it works. It works.
It does. It's a cool scene. Yeah. I always like the final confrontation because we're getting more and more creative ways of killing these graboids. I guess I do have to say I like that in many of these sequel films, the guns are kind of taken away. Yeah. And we have to find a different solution other than like a giant elephant gun or explosives. So I guess it is really nice to see that the solution in this film was not dynamite or something that we've seen before. So I did enjoy that. It's different. Still doesn't make me forgive the whole film though. No. Sorry guys.
Yeah. Anyway, so they kill the graboid and it hits by multiple lightning bolts and explodes. Just explodes. Yeah. I had forgotten that because, like I said, I've seen this one before. Mm-hmm. I've forgotten that it explodes because I was just expecting, okay, it's going to hit by lightning, it's going to be like fried, maybe it's going to catch fire. No, it fucking explodes. Boom! Because they always have to explode at the end. But anyway, yeah, and then the movie is like everyone's getting together, they're celebrating the victory over the monsters. Burt and Travis, Burt told him, like, I don't want to work with you anymore earlier. But then, of course, Burt had to change hearts.
He's like, well, what about my career? Aren't we going to work on it? Yeah. Like, you're supposed to help me.
Yeah.
And it's his way of saying, like, I don't want you to go away. Yeah. We never really have any other scene where they discuss that they're father or son either. It's just kind of weird.
Yeah. This is what I want to say. I felt like the helicopter guy and Burt had more chemistry than Travis and Burt.
Seriously?
Like, they were like birds of a feather.
Does he come back in the next film? Like, no?
I don't think so, considering where the setting of the next film is. But we'll get... Anyway, so they do that, and then the credits roll, and then there's a mid-credit scene where we see the new opening of Burt's web show that includes Travis. They're a father and son duo hunting monsters. They say they're hunting not just graboids, but any other kind of monsters. So is the movie setting up that we're soon to be fighting things that aren't Tremors, kind of like the TV show did? But there was a reason why there were other creatures in the TV show. There was a...
are they going to be... so it's interesting. We have all... he has seen these films before. This was my first time seeing many of these films, so the next one is actually a first for both of us.
Yes.
So we don't know what's coming next.
Yeah. I know that there are graboids in the next one.
Yes.
I know that the next one is snow. It's graboids in the snow.
I was going to say, it's graboids in the snow, which I'm very confused about.
Now I'm just picturing a graboid on on top of snow, making like a graboid angel or some shit.
I don't know. I'm just making the assumption. Maybe this was just in my head, but for some reason I figured that they might hibernate during the winter because it's super cold. And I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking, but that was my assumption
Don't think the movie's not thinking anymore.
The movie doesn't make sense anymore. So any logic that you try to apply to this just can't apply.
Yeah. And I know what some people are saying, like, you can't apply logic to a movie about underground.
No, you can't, but
every movie, whether it's sci-fi or fantasy, has to have an internal logic to it. When you get rid of that internal logic...
universes, established logic, canonical logic, there's...
Yeah, this is why people... Yeah, like, love or hate the Star Wars movies, this is why people have issues with the way the Force is presented in the newer films, because we have people using Force powers that weren't that... If the prequels didn't exist, you could get away with, but because the prequels do exist...
Yeah, because the prequels exist, it's very confusing.
Yeah. But anyway, so Tremors 5, Bloodlines, it's...
We had some issues here.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Where Tremors 4, I didn't care for much because I thought most of the characters were pretty generic.
Mm-hmm.
This one is just like the character. I don't even. Some of the characters aren't even generic. They're just like they're not even. They're barely characters.
They're stand-ins. They're just. It's a body.
The continuity errors. The
design.
Yeah.
Now on the plus side, again, we do have better graphics.
Yes. Yeah.
Again, I like that we have a final scene that's different.
Yes. Michael Gross is still great as Burt.
Of course, Michael Gross is definitely great. I'm interested to see if Jamie Kennedy comes on because I haven't looked yet. I was I had to watch this one a few times because it was just hard to get through with the continuity errors. I was very confused in parts.
Well, I'm going to spoil for you. Jamie Kennedy is in the next one because these ones I think they're always meant to be like back to back. Like they were. I think they were always planning to do another one after this because the next one I'm pretty sure only came out a year and a half after this one.
Yeah, I think it didn't come out too long after. So that's cool that we'll have another recurring character and maybe establish more of their relationship as father and son. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I'm like fingers crossed that it's a little better than this, but I don't know what we're in for.
Yeah. Well. Anyway, so yeah, Tremors 5, unfortunately. Last time was Tremors 4. I didn't care for Tremors 4 too much. Didn't hate it, just didn't care for it. You like Tremors 4.
I did like it. I still like it.
This one we're back to being on the same page.
We're back to being on the same page. This one's not great, guys. It's just not.
Unfortunately.
And I don't know if that has. I mean, I guess we can say it probably has a lot to do with the fact that we have a different production team, and obviously those people on the team didn't want to follow the rules that were established by the previous men working on this, and I feel like that's probably why they left the project.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the issues that we're having with it are probably issues that the original creators had, and that's why they left. So we will see what we get into next time, I guess.
Yes. Because next time we will go to Tremors 6, A Cold Day in Hell. That'll be the next one, and that's the last one that came out before the new one, which we at the time of this recording,
you just found out the title.
The title of Tremors 7, which you found the article, so please tell what was the name of the next one.
What is it? Island Fury, I think.
That was initially what the title was, but as of the article posted today is Shrieker Island.
Oh, Shrieker Island.
So
that's right.
So the next one is going to involve the Shriekers, which is good because
I have a feeling that maybe implies we haven't seen the Shriekers since 4 or
we haven't seen.
So I don't know if we're gonna see Shriekers in 6 then.
Yeah, because
we're gonna find out.
Yeah, because if the next one's in snow, that means it's gonna be like somewhere like in Alaska or in Antarctica, somewhere like that.
I feel like it would be easier for Shriekers to hunt in snow though. No.
Oh yeah, because he's the signature.
Now I'm trying to apply logic again. I gotta stop.
Just stop it.
You have to throw it out the window now.
Out the fucking window.
Yeah, because we know it's not going to make sense going on.
But anyway, yeah, so anything else you want to get out of your system, or are you good?
I think I'm good.
I
think we
I'm good
we got
too.
it.
Yeah. We got it. Unfortunately, we got it.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for tuning in and listening or watching if you're checking us out on YouTube. If you do enjoy our stuff, please subscribe, follow, like, whatever. We got links to our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all the other platforms you can listen to us to. Libsyn's our main hosting site if you like listening to us, but we're also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Stitcher. So if you prefer one of those other ones, go listen to us on there. Don't care where you listen to us. We appreciate the viewership. And if you would like to support the show, go to patreon.com/POVincent if you can spare some money. If you can't, hey, we get it.
Just keep watching, guys.
Just keep watching.
Keep listening. Yeah. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, watching is, if you guys are watching and enjoying and following, honestly, that really puts a smile on our faces.
Yeah.
We're more than satisfied with that right now. But yeah, until next time, thank you for checking things out through our point of view. Take it easy.
Bye.